Welcome in to another edition of the JMU Sports News Podcast. I'm Bennett Conlon, joined by Jack Fitzpatrick, and we are recapping Tuesday night football, which is fun one time, and I'm good never doing it again.
Yeah, that was a late night too. Like,
the game took forever.
I hope Bobby Crosby's okay. Also,
yes,
that took forever. And then the review on the targeting took forever. That wasn't really a targeting. Like, come on, what are we? And before we get any further, do you want to just let And before we get any further, just want to shout out our friends over at Sign Pros. You can check out their brand new online shop. It allows you to order some of their products that they have online. It's mysignpros.net/shop for all of your sign needs, everything like that. Check them out, mysignpros.net/shop. We'll start with a quick ad break, then we'll be right on back. For more than 20 years, SignPro has been proudly serving the Valley, helping local businesses stand out and get noticed. Whether it's vehicle wraps that turn heads on the road, dimensional signs that elevate your storefront, or long-lasting banners with yard signs, we bring quality and experience to every project. With a reputation built on craftsmanship and trust, we're here to make your message impossible to miss. Visit mysignpros.net and let's showcase your business with confidence. That's mysignpros.net. Love JMU Sports News? Help us keep bringing you the best coverage we possibly can. Support the show and fuel our work at buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. Every cup keeps us rolling all season long. Buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. Yeah, man, those stoppages early on were just, not early on, late on. Like, that wasn't a targeting. Let's just start there. That wasn't a targeting.
That's the story of the game, right? Did Mekhi Rogers target?
That is the story of the game. No, there are a lot of stories of the game here, right? Like, Alonza Barnett finds consistency. The defense for the fourth straight game does not allow a single point in the second half. Unfortunately, their under 300-yard streak gets snapped due to that Texas State offense is good. They're nice, man. Mind-boggling that they're now 0-4 in conference play because Brad Jackson was nice. Their passing, that shocking that offense does not have a win in conference play. But what was the story of the game for you?
For me, it was just joy. I thought joy was the story of the game because I'm a Nick DeGennaro guy, as we know. 3 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. That brought me a lot of joy. Joby Mallory got carries. You might have been asleep by this point, not sure. Joby Mallory got carries. And then they gave Trayshawn Dye carries. He's my favorite up-and-coming linebacker. And then I saw him running the ball, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this. But they did it.
2 carries, 12 yards.
He's a beast, dude. He was a high school running back. They used him as scout team running back, but did not expect him to play in a game getting carried. So that was a pleasant surprise. It was just it felt like everybody got involved, maybe except Matthew Sluka. I thought they would give him a little run in the second half. They went with Evans, but man, what's not to like? It was good stuff. It was really good stuff. The number one takeaway for me is I was listening to The House. And Vad was concerned. He's like, if this is a game at halftime, I worry about that Texas State offense. And Delvin goes, if this is a game at halftime, it's not going to be a game in the fourth quarter because JMU cooks in the second half. And I was like, that's a good point. And that's kind of how I felt at halftime. 28-20. And it was like, if they clean up a couple of things, if they play the way they usually do in the second half, this is over. I didn't think it was going to be so similar to the ODU game where they just put the clamps on a great offense again with the second half shutout and blew them out almost immediately, but I did think they would pull away. But I don't know, they get to the second half and it's close and it feels like the game is over.
It's amazing the second half adjustments that Hitchler's been able to make. And even Dean Kennedy. Dean Kennedy was getting a lot of heat, I think rightfully so, for that double reverse pass to the short side of the field when you're deep in your own territory. That was a little weird. I saw some fans being upset at Alonza Barnett for throwing that football. I don't think that was the issue. I think that was the play call. But he settled in really nicely throughout the second half of the game. They found a really good rhythm. And what Hitchler is able to do, and I think we've seen it now I mean, ODU and Texas State are two of the best offenses in all of the Sun Belt, and they both have over 270 yards of offense in the first half, and they put up some points. And it kind of felt like Hitchler was sitting back and saying, show me what you got, kind of empty your bag of tricks a little bit. Let's see where you guys are going to go. I can now kind of understand your sequencing. And then at halftime, he's like, all right, so they're going to do this, 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 and this. We're going to do this, 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 and this, and they're not going to be able to move the football again.
Yeah, it's so good. And Chesney last year, I feel like there were conversations of like, oh, he's still learning the Sun Belt and he's still adjusting to the FBS. He looks pretty comfortable over there on the sideline. Like, working
he looks
the refs
way too comfortable the way that he's yelling at those referees.
He's working the refs in the first half, and then I think realizes like in the second quarter that the refs are incompetent and working them is just not even going to work. So at that point, he just kind of stares at him throughout the game. Like after the targeting call, he had that long stare and just looked at the guy and then said "F off," like just stares right at him. It's like fuck off. That was awesome. I was like, hell yeah, that's my guy, that's my coach, man. And then of course after the game, he's all positive and talking a lot about like, no, we did all the right things. But it's just funny to see like his in-game competitiveness. He seems very confident in what they're going to do in the second half. Hitchler is super confident. He was laughing at the end of the game because he was telling the guys to get into like a punt safe. And you could tell he was looking to some other coach, and the other coach is like, no, we're not a punt safe. And he just like laughed. He's like, thought we were a punt safe. Like they're up by so many points in the fourth quarter that they're just like having fun beating up a team that was supposed to be like the best of the best, or at least one of the best teams in the West with this elite offense. And they're just like having fun on a Tuesday going into their stadium, beating them by 30. They're really clicking, and everybody seems pretty comfortable.
It's kind of a crazy turn. Like less than a month ago, they were barely beating Georgia State in Atlanta, and we were hitting the panic buttons, and it was just like, what's going wrong with this team? This offense can't figure it out. Do we turn to Sluka? And credit to the coaching staff for, staying true to what they were doing. The Louisiana game, there were flashes of brilliance in that one, but I don't think it was as like put together. It's no secret. That Louisiana game was not as put together as what these last two games have been, but you could kind of see the signs of it moving forward. And then all of a sudden they go out and they do what they did against ODU. They ranked in the 98th percentile in EPA per dropback against ODU. They were 94th. Granted, it's on the season so far, but 94th percentile in EPA per dropback against Texas State. This is the same offense that was struggling to have a forward pass be a completion for the first portion of this season. And now all of a sudden they are one of the most dynamic passing attacks in the country.
They've been really unbelievable the last couple of weeks. And I think I do owe Alonza Barnett an apology, man. I was like, hey, he's a game manager. We know who he is. UNC game was an outlier. He's making like a late push for Sun Belt like offensive player of the year in just 2.5 like really incredible weeks. He's been playing well, and I was looking at this and it's still kind of blowing my mind. Dating back to last season, his passing touchdown to interceptions, 39 touchdowns now, 7 interceptions. Like that's just it's just really good. Like it's hard to say like, oh, he's a game manager when he's gonna end up like at the end of the year over the last 2 years like 50 touchdowns and 10 picks.
Yeah, he's pretty good, huh?
And he's running like a madman. Like I knew he could run, but I didn't know that he had. Where I was like, oh, he can't go side to side. He can't do this. They're not really going side to side. They're just like getting him through a hole, and he takes off and runs for 1,000,000 yards. He's got like 250 rushing yards over the last 2 games.
He's been fantastic. And if you look at what he's done since the Louisiana game, so the last 3 games of the season, he's second in the Sun Belt in passing rating, according to PFF. He's first among all quarterbacks in offensive grade. This is the same quarterback that in weeks 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 was a bottom half of the league quarterback. And like I had to like fix the data to fit Bennett's narrative, as he was trying to say. But this is the same quarterback that quite literally, I'm pulling it up as we speak, so I know it exactly, so I don't misspeak. Weeks 0 through 7, he was ranked 15th in the Sun Belt out of 19. Those are the quarterbacks that took 20% of their team snaps through the first month and a half of the year. Over the last 3 weeks, he is the best quarterback in the Sun Belt. What? And something we talked about and complained about a lot was the down by down variance of Alonza Barnett III. One down, he looked like the best quarterback in the Sun Belt. The next down, he looked like the worst quarterback in the Sun Belt, and there wasn't consistency. And I think a big reason why I wasn't running laps of celebration after that ODU win, it was a great win, but it was just like, all right, well, we've seen him do it once before. He did it against UNC, and he kind of backed it up against Ball State. Those were two great games, but Ball State, a different opponent than UNC. So it was kind of like, well, he did it once. Okay, he did it once against ODU. I want to see him back it up against what we think is as another good Sun Belt opponent, or at least serviceable Sun Belt opponent. And he did. And I'm all in on it. Like, this dude, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a turnaround mid-season the way Alonza Barnett has. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this.
No, I think that's kind of why we were frustrated at times, right? It's like we know that there's more potential than what's being had. I mean, it's by far the best 3-game stretch of his career. Like, he hasn't gone under 250 passing yards in 3 consecutive games after we talked about how they could barely get to 200 ever. Like, he
against a Georgia State team, he did not break 100. And Georgia State, one of the worst teams in the nation.
Yeah, he had 5 rushing touchdowns in the first, whatever that was, 7 games of the year or whatever. 6, I guess. Yeah, 6 games of the year. Now he's got 5 in the last 2. Like, he had 4 passing touchdowns in the first 5 games of the year, and he's got 9 in the last 3. Like, it's just insane. It was nothing. It was nothing for the start of the season. Like, they couldn't throw the ball. And now they like, don't need to give it to Wayne Knight. It's like, we're good.
And then when they do, it's a 57-yard complete. That swing pass early on in the, I think it was like their second drive maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was even their first drive. That's a swing pass Alonza does not complete in weeks 1 through 7. Like, that is a play call that has been done multiple times, and he missed it. He nailed Wayne Knight in the flat for that one, and Wayne takes it for 57 yards. There was another play in the third quarter where he works through his progression, starts looking left, he's completely covered, looks, finds finds Logan Kyle in the flat as the tight end kind of leaks out, hits him for an easy walk-in touchdown. That's not a play I think AB3 makes a month ago.
And they're protecting really well. Like, there's good protection. He seems to be feeling the pocket better. Like, his deep ball to DeJaneiro, like, you don't see it on the camera angle. He lets it go, and it's like...
Well, probably because we were watching that from the moon.
Yeah, they had some crazy angles. But he let it go, and it's like, guy's probably going to be wide open. And then he was, and he hit DeJaneiro in stride for a perfect touchdown, which I guess they just do now to, like, start second halves. Like, the Louisiana game was just a bomb to Ellis for a touchdown. Now they have this as a bomb. Like, they're just... He's doing a lot of things really well. They're calling things well. He's executing well. I don't know. They were like a sleeping giant for the first 5-6 games of the year, and it seems like they've finally woken up. And to do it on ESPN2 on a Tuesday felt particularly important, because now you do have a bunch of like random college football accounts that have a lot of followers that are like, this is a playoff team. Like, these are the guys. Like, Georgia State, nobody watched that game. Nobody knows it happened.
Thank goodness. Yeah, no one knows it. People are going to look at JMU's schedule and be like, wait, what? How did they go from like the schedule of JMU for a third party who's just now being introduced? They're like 52-20. They put up 60 plus on ODU. Holy hell! And then they're gonna look back and they're like, "Wow, wait, huh? 14-7 to Georgia State. What happened?"
Like, we spent all this time being like, just a defensive-minded team. They're second in the Sun Belt in scoring offense now, and Marshall has a 0.3 point lead. Like, they have a good chance of ending the year as the highest scoring Sun Belt. Like, they're just, it's rolling. It's absolutely rolling.
They've got according to EPA per play overall, they're third in the Sun Belt and 48th in the nation, behind ODU and Texas State. They were like, they weren't that high early on. They rank first by a considerable margin in EPA margin, which takes the defense into account at plus 0.145. So on a per play basis, every 10 plays, they're putting up a point essentially. And then they rank 8th in the country in net FPOS, and then they rank 9th in the country in points per drive. That is insane. They're 24th in the nation and I know I'm just throwing like a lot of numbers out, but it's just like how dominant this team is. They are averaging 2.51 points per drive, which is absurd. They're averaging just a hair under a field goal each time they touch the football. Their defense is 11th in the nation, allowing 1 point per drive.
I mean, they've been really, really good. And they were playing like slow to start the year. And now they're scoring with some quick stuff. So they're getting more possessions and really beating teams up. Which is kind of what we talked about. We're like, hey, you don't have to play that slow because, like, if you have more possessions over the course of a game, you're going to blow some of these teams out because you are way better than them. And it's playing out that way. It's been nice to see. And you look back, like, some of these look kind of nice now where it's like, oh, yeah, easy 18-point win over Liberty, 25 over Georgia Southern. Like, there's only the one win that was by one possession against Georgia State, and you can almost throw it out. I think people are basically going to throw that out and be like, it is what it is. Whatever.
I hate you.
Like, it's crazy, man. They're in the mix, and I know they don't have like a ton of quality wins right now or whatever, but they are going to be in the mix.
They've no quality wins.
I want to push back. I got to push back on that a little because we don't know exactly how ODU or like Liberty is going to end the year. Like Liberty is 3-4. They're not going to be a great win, but like 7-5 seems pretty realistic for them. 8-4 is not off the table. ODU's 5-3. They could legit go 9-3. Marshall, I think, could still get 8 wins.
Yeah, Marshall just randomly being very good. I did a hit before the game last night, and the question was like, what games are you worried about on the JMU schedule remaining? And I was like, tonight against Texas State. I was like, I'm worried about that. It's Tuesday. It's a plane trip. Everything, all the data shows that JMU does not perform well in these spots, which makes the win even more fun. And then I was like, and next Saturday or I guess not next Saturday, but the following Saturday, because this is weird, at Marshall. Like, Marshall's now a wagon. And the host was like, huh? Since when?
Yeah, it's like they're playing. I was like, they're playing well.
But it was like, yeah, if you don't necessarily follow along with Sun Belt football, I guess you don't really understand that Marshall is like low key good in the Sun Belt East now and is like the biggest threat to JMU there, depending on how this Saturday goes. But yeah, you do look back and that touchdown late against Louisville would have made that game.
That's what I was gonna say, man. 28-21 would have looked good.
Liberty probably a bowl team. ODU probably a bowl team. Texas State
is definitely a bowl team. I mean, ODU could get legit to 9-3.
Did you hear Ricky Ronnie's answer on bowl eligibility?
No.
It was one of the best answers I've ever heard on bowl eligibility.
He doesn't care.
No, he said, well, it was kind of like, I haven't even started thinking about that because when you start thinking about bowl eligibility, it means that you have to start thinking about Christmas. And when you start thinking about Christmas, you have to start thinking about gifts. And then you have to start thinking about how your wife wants a new dog and you have to tell your wife no, and that's going to make your wife mad at you. So no, I haven't started thinking about bowl eligibility.
That's funny. But they're 5-3 right now. The rest of their schedule is at ULM, where they're like a 17-point favorite. They host Troy on a Thursday, I think, which will be a pretty fun game. Then they go to Georgia Southern and home against Georgia State. Like, they could definitely win all 4 of those. I'm not saying they're going to necessarily. But
ODU bowl team, Marshall bowl team, Washington State could potentially be a bowl team. You still got
Washington State could go 7-5. Like, some of these teams could be okay wins, not great wins, but like, I don't know. I don't think it's not as bad a resume as people are saying.
Having a double-digit lead and losing it against Louisville does really hurt.
They get up double digits?
Didn't they?
I thought they were up just a touchdown.
Was it a touchdown? I thought they crept up to like 11 at one point in the game.
14-6.
Okay. Sorry.
But that was 14-6 in the third quarter, and then you don't score again. Oof. That'll hurt you.
Not to relive that one. But, I mean, the stats of the game, Alonza goes 12 of 18 for 264, 4 touchdowns. He runs it 10 times. Only one of those was a sack, so 9 rushes for 98 yards and a touchdown. His long was 51. Wayne Knight has 48 yards. Jordan Fuller has 46 yards and 2 touchdowns. J.C. Evans, Joby Mallory, Chashawn Dye all come in garbage time and rack up over 40 yards. George Pettaway gets 1 carry. Can I complain about one thing? Because it's not the JMU Sports News podcast without complaining. Actually, 2 things. I got 2 things to complain about. One, the icing of the kicker. Hindsight, it's totally fine. It doesn't matter. In the moment, that felt like it could have been such a swing of momentum.
It was so
It doesn't
dumb.
matter. because they crush him in the second half. But
why is he gonna? What's the idea there?
that's the point. Like, it's not to tie. It's not to go ahead. It's already like windy, and you're giving him a second chance, like to
And the
understand.
play clock was kind of running down. Like they were kind of seemed like they were moving quick.
It was weird on every front of it, where it was just like that is a case of overthinking.
Yeah, usually I feel like you ice like in the fourth quarter to make a guy think about the kick more, like to increase his nerves.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he was feeling any nerves down 11 on a Tuesday with nobody in the crowd for a 3-4 team. Like he was just kicking a ball. There wasn't like, oh, like I hope I don't miss this. Like he knew his defense was giving up another 25 points. That field goal didn't mean anything.
The video game college football stadium pulse, when it's like a big moment, your controller starts shaking. You know what it was that in that moment? Nothing. It was nothing. There was no stadium pulse whatsoever. That the controller was not shaking. And you gave him a free test shot to be like, all right, so the wind's not blowing as hard as I thought. Here we go. We'll do it again right down the middle. Cool. That was one. My second thing to complain about is the roster management of this team. And I'm not like saying George Pettaway is bad or anything like that, but like he was getting a lot of run to start the year, and now it's almost exclusively the Wayne Knight, Jordan Fuller show. And they look like they are very good football players. And there were rumors that Jordan Fuller was going to be redshirted this year. And it's like,
yeah,
he might be better than Wayne Knight in certain scenarios. Like, what's the thought process there? And then secondly, with that, like Nick DeGennaro is now like 6 catches, 4 touchdowns, about 300 yards over the last 2 games. I'd still love to see him get more targets, but like he wasn't getting those opportunities early in the season. Landon Ellis has emerged as like the next best wide receiver. He wasn't getting those targets. Wisłowski got 10 targets a couple of weeks ago. We couldn't divvy those up to Landon Ellis and Nick DeGennaro. Like the roster management, like from what week 1 was to what today or last night was, it's mind-boggling.
There's some interesting stuff. Pettaway's clearly not healthy, I think. They like only put him in like for these weird little pass play designs, and it's like it feels like you could have given him a week or 2 and just been like, "Hey, get like to fully 100% or something," because he's not doing anything. They're not even asking him to do anything.
Have him sit out because he's not healthy, and then maybe you could use a medical red shirt, right? I don't know.
I guess maybe he's played too many games or he doesn't want to. I don't know, but it's a weird thing where it's like he's really not getting used much at all. They clearly have him on a pitch count, which is fine, but it's also just weird because he was supposed to be like a stud.
Iowa Dei was listed as available. He was in street clothes.
That was crazy.
He was on street clothes, and they weren't hiding him.
Like the first half too, he was in street clothes. Like it wasn't like he
holding signs.
He could. Like he had no intention of playing in this game.
They had him doing the sign holding for the play calls.
Yeah.
But he was available.
Available.
I was told that game meant more to him because it was in Texas.
Yeah, he's not healthy, which is a bummer because he like just started to play well and guys got hurt, and then he also got hurt. But yeah, all I was gonna say is like if you had told me a couple weeks ago that Trayshawn Dye would have more carries than Pettaway in a day, I would be like, probably not. But that's what happened.
What a game. What a game. I'm jazzed. I'm all in on this team. They are very, very good at football. That's not breaking news. I was very hesitant to really let my hopes get up, and I think that's been very clear on this podcast with how I've been talking. Even my talk around like college football playoff, I still don't want to dive too much into it. I'll let Bennett dive into that because I don't want to get my heart broken by expecting the college football playoff. But Sunbelt Championship still very much, I mean, they are completely in the driver's seat now, barring a catastrophic meltdown at the end of the season. They are going to be in the Sunbelt Championship, and with a couple more good wins, specifically against Marshall. I mean, the remaining 3 games are rivalry games, but if you can get that win against Marshall, you are very much in the driver's seat to host the Sunbelt Championship game. So things are looking real nice for them. But if you want to break down college football playoff stuff, by all means.
They're in the mix, man, and they might need Southern Miss. Looks like sneaky wagon in the West. So you might need to go 8-0. You might need to go 7-1 at least to get that hosting. It's going to be an interesting battle. But I think it goes down to like metrics and rankings. If you have the same record as the team in the West, and JMU's going to have like a better rankings and
SP
metrics. So,
plus, FPI, whatever it is.
whatever they do, because Southern Miss has a loss to Louisiana Tech and a P4 loss. So like they're not. If you have the same record, same thing goes for Troy. If you have the same record, you're gonna host it, which seems doable if you can get by Marshall, because App State has some pretty big issues. As does Coastal Carolina, which is still somehow 3-1 in the conference. But college football playoff, it runs through the American, right? We know that at this point. It runs through the American. I think FPI gives Jamie like a 14% chance, and that's behind like 4 American teams, which is hilarious, of making the playoff. Navy, I think, love them. A lot of respect for the midshipmen. They're a fraud, though, and they're about to be exposed.
They're not necessarily a fraud. They've just got a hell of a schedule remaining that they are not making.
Nah, they're a fraud. But they play North Texas, Notre Dame, South Florida, Memphis, and then the selection is before the Army game, so it doesn't actually matter for the playoff. But like, there's a decent chance they lose all 4 of those. They're going to be an underdog in all 4.
For JMU's case, I hope they beat Memphis.
Yeah, it would be nice if they could be plucky and like grab one of those. But we'll see. But I don't think they have a legit chance to make the playoff. Like, they have a 1-point win over Temple, a 3-point win over Air Force. They've struggled defensively. Their offense is incredible with Blake Horvath, but they've struggled defensively, sort of the inverse JMU, which is now clicking on all cylinders. Memphis, 7-1, maybe in the driver's seat because they beat South Florida, but they have a bad loss to UAB. Their win over Arkansas is not going to age well. Arkansas has a chance to go 2-10, but they do have a nice 21-point road win over Troy, which seems like one of the better Sunbelt West teams. So that's interesting. They beat Georgia State by 22. So if you're looking for a common opponent,
Yikes.
That goes in their favor. Both games at Georgia State. But they play Rice on Halloween on Friday.
Yeah, I'm so scared for the 4-4 Rice Owls.
They run like a triple option, though, so you never know. You could sneak up on them. That's a sneaky one. But then they play Tulane at East Carolina, and then they play Navy on Thanksgiving. Those 3 are hard. If they get through all those games and then also win like the American Championship, good for them. Like, you did it. You earned your spot.
Yeah, but Memphis's defense is a little suspect where they will drop a game.
They have issues. Yeah, I don't necessarily see them getting through it. Tulane, undefeated in conference play, but they have some tests left, but they do have some nice wins. Like the Duke win is aging decently. The Northwestern win surprisingly looks okay. They go to UTSA, which is a game they should win, but you never know. Then they play at Memphis, which is going to be a tough one. They play Florida Atlantic, which they should blow out. They have Charlotte to end the year, should be a blowout. At Temple is actually sneaky hard. Temple's playing some good ball under Casey Keeler. So maybe they drop one of those and get upset, or they lose in the conference championship. But again, if they're a one-loss team, I think it's them because they have 2 P4 wins, and they would also have a win over Memphis. Like, they would. So the American obviously has the edge, and then North Texas, only 1 loss. It was a blowout loss to South Florida. They play Navy, UAB, Rice, and Temple to end the year. So like they're kind of in the mix still, which is interesting. They have a win over Washington State, 59-10, which looks crazy nice the way Washington State is playing. But they also have like a 3-point overtime win against Western Michigan and an overtime win against Army. And then their 1 loss to South Florida, again, was like in embarrassing fashion. So I don't know. I don't know that they're like a shoo-in to get it, because what's their best win? Washington State? And JMU could have that same best win.
That's a good point. But a lot has to go wrong in the American for
yeah,
JMU.
You're going to have some teams beating each other up. But I guess on the positive, like Navy North Texas feels like an elimination game, and then Memphis Tulane feels like an elimination game.
Yeah, so you get those 2 out of the way. But there's a portion of this that I feel like we're all glazing over. JMU has to win out.
Yeah.
And win a Sun Belt title, which is something they've literally never done. They have lost in the final couple of weeks of the season in every year since moving to the FBS. Notably, we can all remember 2023 when there was litigation being threatened to the NCAA, and what did JMU do? Lose in overtime. And then last year, we all know the 4-4 finish in Sun Belt play, and the year before that, they weren't eligible for the postseason, so they've got to do something they've quite literally never done.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but I do think it's doable. The Marshall one feels like the toughest one left. App State, Washington State bring their own challenges. Coastal feels like one. if you're focused, you should beat them pretty good. But it's there. It's there for the taking, man.
Yeah. It is. Handle your, not to sound too coachy, but this is the one time I put like my coaching hat on. Not coaching hat because I'm not a good coach, but like typically I'm always like, I don't care. Go 1-0 every week. That's stupid. Like just go. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about. When it comes to this, I'm just like, okay. Just I want to see a Sun Belt championship. And
yes.
If that results in them making it to the college football playoff, that's awesome. But I don't want to worry so much about college football playoff stuff that it then hurts my enjoyment of a Sun Belt title.
I would agree with that. That's the focus. Like if you go 12-1 and like 12-1 Memphis gets in over you, such is life, man. It does not make your 12-1 season any worse.
And it makes whatever bowl game that JMU will go to a whole heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like you just have a chance to go 13-1. And are you doing it with your coach or any of your good players? Maybe not. So that part might suck. But like just I think getting through the conference championship, winning the Sun Belt is, like you said, they have never done that. It would be a good thing to just check off like, hey, we won this conference title. We went 12-1. If you do that, you're ending the year in the top 25. Like there's a lot of things that would be relevant and meaningful about that, even if the American gets into the playoff.
Yes. All right. Anything else you want to add about this game?
I don't think so. It's just a good one. They did what they needed to do. They're clicking. They get a little extra rest before Marshall. I am excited about that Marshall game. And then Marshall plays Thursday at Coastal, so kind of interested to see how they look because they've been up and down in conference play where they had an overtime win over Texas State. They blew out ODU, but then they lost to Louisiana. So I'm interested to see if Marshall, like, are you truly a wagon? Let's see on a Thursday how good they really are.
I'm also very intrigued to see how this bye week impacts JMU because this is one of the weirder bye weeks I've ever seen. Because technically this last Saturday was their bye week, yet they play Tuesday, or yesterday when we're recording, which means that they don't play this upcoming Saturday, and so they don't play again until the following Saturday.
They get a lot of rest.
So it almost feels like this is the bye week.
Yeah, this one's more like a traditional bye, I think, in terms of length.
Yeah, but like it's just odd that...
But they didn't play last Saturday. It's a weird stretch of the season for sure.
We're like in the middle of a Sun Belt Conference race, you just don't play for multiple Saturdays in a row.
Yeah, it's about to be electric. And we were talking to our contributor, Evan. He was saying if they get by Marshall, like the atmosphere for App State and Washington State at home, with them like very much in the Sun Belt title mix, but maybe also in the playoff conversation, is going to be insane.
It'll rival 2023 when the lawsuit.
It will be crazy if they can get through this Marshall game.
But it's a big if because Marshall took them down last year, and
it's a tough place to play. Marshall's good. Like I feel like anytime you play Marshall and App State, there's just like a program competence that makes them a little scary.
Gray.
It's like they just like know how to win games. Like even if it's a down year, it's like their program has a certain culture and competence about it that's like a little bit scary. Where like the inverse is true of Texas State, where it's like maybe you can flip the script on like your entire history as a football program, or
you see how important that is each and every year because every year Texas State starts red hot, and then the culture of their programs like. And it pulls them back in. Like GJ Kinney, he's a dark horse. You know, a lot of these job openings, maybe GJ Kinney's gone, and then here comes the culture of Texas State. And there goes all of his hope.
That 4th and 1 in the second half, deep in Texas State territory, where their best defensive end, who's a stud, jumps off sides on the hard count. It's like that's a very Texas State play. Like if he's playing at Marshall, like Khalil Alexander doesn't jump. Like that's one where it's just that one feels like a culture thing where it's like you guys just don't make winning plays and that's why you're 0-4 in the league despite having like the sickest offense imaginable.
They have the best offense according to EPA per play in the Sun Belt.
Of a conference win.
That offense last night, I'm just watching and it's like you guys are tearing apart in the first half at least, tearing apart the best defense in the group of 5. Like,
they also dropped some, like, Brad Jackson would, like, place it perfectly in their hand from, like, 35 yards, and they would drop it, and he had to just be. He reacted a little bit. You could tell he was getting a little frustrated, where he's, like, drilling him in the chest. He's like, boys, what are we doing?
there was one that was like, it would have been a nice catch, but like on the replay from the end zone angle, he had beat, I don't know if it was Culp or
I think he beat
Eaglin in
Cole,
coverage.
yeah.
It was Colt by like a good 4 steps. The ball, he's fully extended, and on like from the moon, it's like, oh, that was just a touch overthrown.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. From the end zone angle, it was like, oh, it would have been a tough catch, but like you got to make that catch.
Yeah, and then like the early interception that like just drilled the dude in the chest, and they had one later that he hit Sparks in the chest that just bounced to nowhere. And you could tell he was starting to get a little bit frustrated because I mean you can't place the ball any better than he did a few times, and they would still drop it. They're getting some lucks, man. ODU, like they had an easy second half touchdown that was just dropped. So,
and now that makes it 4 straight games without allowing a single point in the second half,
which is insane.
They haven't allowed a touchdown or any point in 4 straight games. So that's 4 times in 9 straight second half quarters, if that makes sense. Because they didn't allow a touchdown or any point in the 4th quarter against Georgia Southern.
Yeah, they've really put together some unbelievable stuff, man. Like the Louisville game keeps aging decently. Like that's a good football team in the ACC.
Honestly, I'd argue it's aging better as a loss than it would have as a win.
Many people are saying that. We also need to talk briefly about the fraudulent Virginia Cavaliers, just for a second. Like, that team, top 15, is crazy for them. A lot of respect for them. As a program, it's fun to see them winning. Good for them. I don't hate them. I'm not a hater. But, like, I'm going to chirp them the rest of the year. because I'm mad at their fans for thinking they're a top 15 team.
Well, their fans think they would beat JMU if they played tomorrow because they have a 15 next to their name.
20, some people are saying.
Like, they think because they're in the ACC and they have a 15 next to their name, they are better than JMU. But literally all metrics suggest that JMU is the better football team.
That's what drives me. That's what drives me bananas. It's bothering me. The other thing that's bothering me is that they don't have, like, a marquee game. Like, they don't get the same opportunities as some of these other teams where it's, like, beating Texas State by 32. We all know how like good the performance was, but other people don't because it's Texas State, which is frustrating because it's like, oh, you played Louisville and you lost by 14. It's like, yeah, well, if you dig deeper, that was a dogfight.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
So on one of my favorite sites, College Football Graph, Stats of War, you can follow them on Twitter. You can create and put in theoretical matchups.
I'm going to have to tweet it.
So, JMU UVA at Scott Stadium. JMU would be a 5-point favorite.
That's what I'm saying,
with
man.
With a 60% win probability. If it was on a neutral site, they would be over a touchdown favorite.
Let's see what it was in Bridgeforth.
That's what I'm looking up now. Give me 1 second, please.
30-point favorite.
1,000-point favorite. All right, if it's at Bridgeforth, they're still about it's still neutral site check. Holy crap. They would be 9-point favorites.
That's sick, dude. And everyone
7% win probability.
That's where everybody gets I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. People are going to say what they say, but
did you know JMU ranks 120th in the nation in rush rate over expectation, which means they are not running which means they run the football a whole heck of a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe it'll start to fix itself as they are allowed to pass.
But yeah, so JMU UVA, JMU is the better team according to all advanced metrics. It's a really fun season. I've also, if you listen to my radio show on ESPN Richmond, I've been like banging the UVA drum that they were going to be good this year all off season. And it's just so funny that like now that you're like, hey, they're good, but like, wow, they've got some serious flaws, especially over these last few weeks when they haven't been able to move the football. And Chandler Morris is playing like a shell of himself compared to that 700-yard performance against William & Mary. I think there are real issues in this team. And then UVA fans are like, how dare you? We're 15th in the nation.
Well, it just bothers me when it's like, we beat North Carolina, and like North Carolina, man, that's just always a scrappy rivalry. It's like UNC sucks. Okay, you beat them by a yard. You truly beat them by like half a yard. So it's good. You
And
won. The
their
result
lone
matters.
loss. Their lone loss is a conference loss. It's a non-conference game.
And NC State sucks. Like, that's the other thing. And they beat Louisville with the reverse of JMU, where like JMU maybe outplayed Louisville and lost, where like UVA got away with one in that one.
UVA?
Just like they got away with one in all four of their most recent losses.
UVA's been on the
wins.
left side of that graphic, how badly did we get beaten? The left side of the graphic almost in all of their wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. They started the year super hot, but they didn't play anybody. And now they're grinding out these wins, which again is cool. And like, it's a really fun season.
And a
It's
lucky
just,
win at the end of the year counts the same as a non-lucky win. I understand it, but here's the thing. You finish out the year at Cal. Cal's like kind of good, and that's a cross-country road trip.
Yeah.
Home against Wake, you should win that. At Duke, home against Virginia Tech. There's a scenario where you lose 3 of the final 4 games of the season.
Losing at least one more. I don't know. It just bothers me that they're 15th in the AP poll, which I do also think is like good for the sport. That you've got Georgia Tech in the top 10, Indiana's number 2, Vandy's in the top 10, Virginia at 15. Like, okay, it's probably good to have changes like that.
Nerds unite.
All I'm saying is I don't think they're a top 15 team. And originally I actually didn't mention UVA in the first post that got people mad. I just said that their JMU's SP Plus rating was the best in Virginia. Which I call that out all the time
Which
for
is
years.
An
Objective fact.
Objective
And then
they still are.
Yeah, and then people
Even
got
after this
mad.
UNC win. Sorry, go ahead.
People were like, "Oh, like what a stupid ranking." And then somebody was like, "How is that even possible?" And I think that's where I got myself in trouble. I was like, because UVA keeps like getting away with all these wins, they're overrated. I specifically said they're overrated in the AP poll because the predictive metrics have them closer to like 50th in the country, and then strength of record even they're like 25th. So I just said that the AP poll had them overrated, and they're like, "You don't play a real schedule." And it's like Texas State is literally a better football team than UNC. They just don't have Michael Jordan providing them gear. So,
All right, you want to move to voicemails?
yeah.
I think that's a great way to end it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with voicemails right here on the JMU Sports News Podcast. Every Monday, go to the house with former JMU quarterback Vad Lee and Hall of Famer Delvin Joyce. It's the weekly JMU Football podcast with insider insight you won't find anywhere else from 2 guys who've worn the jersey. Listen now. Subscribe to the JMU Sports News Podcast Network to never miss an episode of To the House every Monday. Love JMU Sports News? Help us keep bringing you the best coverage we possibly can. Support the show and fuel our work at buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. Every cup keeps us rolling all season long. Buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. For more than 20 years, SignPro has been proudly serving the Valley, helping local businesses stand out and get noticed. Whether it's vehicle wraps that turn heads on the road, dimensional signs that elevate your storefront, or long-lasting banners with yard signs, we bring quality and experience to every project. With a reputation built on craftsmanship and trust, we're here to make your message impossible to miss. Visit mysignpros.net and let's showcase your business with confidence. That's mysignpros.net. Big win, huge play. Don't just remember it, wear the moment. Breaking Team makes shirts that capture the game's biggest highlights right as they happen. Gear up today using the link in the description. College football's back, and it's time to upgrade your game day gear. Right now, claim 15% off at Home Field. The best retro and vintage apparel in the game. Rep JMU in style. Don't wait. Check the link in description to get your 15% off.
Fellas, it's Wednesday morning. Coming off a big Dukes win on Tuesday night. Mr. JMU. Let's see if we can get it here. Woo! Let's go! Go Dukes! Shout out second half team that we've become. The Dukes are awesome. Alonza Barnett, Week 9, continues to dish out the crow to all the haters. He's great. There's no doubt who's QB1. Everybody just needs to calm down. Keep calm. Go Dukes. Got a big game next week, too. They're all big games. Who cares about the CFP? That stuff will figure itself out. Let's just win some games. And the rest will be easy, right? Let's go conference championship game also. Book your calendars for the end of the first week of December at Bridgeport Stadium. Go Dukes.
Yeah, man, I just can't say enough good things about Colin Hitchler. That guy is incredible. You know, I think I saw someone comment and I double checked, and we have not allowed a single point in the second half of our last 4 games after tonight against Texas State. So to me, that tells me, I think we've got the talent to get us through the first half on defense. And then that man is going in the locker room in halftime and effectively ending the game, which is just so ridiculous. I mean, he's just incredible. So great win for the Dukes. Awesome. Looking forward to Marshall, and go Dukes.
Pablo Hassan here. Hey, Barnett strung 2 good games together. Played fantastic in my opinion. What a win. Very impressed with the second half adjustments. Got to say though, Dean Kennedy continues to baffle me with some of his play calls, but, overall great road win, something we had a really hard time doing last year. So looking really positive at Marshall and probably winning out the rest of the season. Go Dukes.
Fantastic voicemails. Appreciate everyone for leaving them. As always, the voicemail line always open, but drop them after each and every game. Your reactions, your overreactions, your underreactions, your thoughts, your general musings, all of that. We want to hear it, and we'll play them each and every podcast. So bookmark that number, save that number, and give us some voicemails. But do you want to go to listener questions?
Yeah, you remembered to post. Hell yeah. We got listener questions. All right.
I do want to say one thing before we get into listener questions.
Okay.
Whenever you post listener questions, you always get like 15 responses or more. When I post listener questions, we get like 4.
Maybe people aren't awake this morning.
I don't know. All right, what are
Why does it say there are 6 replies, but I only see 3 replies?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Okay. Will Burns, who is the most valuable player on this team for offense and defense?
Most valuable player is Alonza Barnett III on offense, and that seems like a cop-out answer, but maybe it's even, if you go non-quarterback, you could argue Wayne Knight, Nick DeGennaro. Like, when he's firing on all cylinders, the offense looks vastly different. When he has 3 catches or more in a game, JMU is undefeated this year. I'm just saying. Defensively, it's probably Trayshawn Dye, because what other defensive player can play running back?
I think that's well said. The defense one's like almost impossible to pick because they're all like...
I would say Trent Hendrick.
Yeah, that one makes sense. The most underrated is not the question, but Pfeiffer is so sick at tight end on offense. Like
2 catches, 1 touchdown this year.
Incredible catch, but his blocking is unreal. Like, he really manhandled some people. There was also, they had a false start or something at the goal line. Your boy Landon Ellis, like, decleated a D-back and was, like, celebrating even though he knew there was a penalty, which I thought was just, like, the mindset I want. Like, I don't care if it counts. Like, put you on your ass. Okay, from Andrew. Is there any scenario in your minds where JMU can eclipse a 1-loss conference winner from the AAC?
No.
Maybe if it's
North Texas.
If it's North Texas or Navy, like if Navy loses like 60-0 to Notre Dame and wins the American,
the committee will respect our troops too much.
That's probably true. Okay, so you probably need a 2-loss. North Texas is the only one.
I don't think North Texas though. Like I still don't think, because your win in the American Athletic Conference championship game would be better than any win JMU has. Like you'd have to beat Navy or Tulane or Memphis or
and they gotta beat Navy to even get in the game. Yeah,
like
they'd have some nice wins.
Yeah.
You need some chaos there. Okay, Duke Dog Burner. I feel like the offense would have went 8 for 8 in the red zone as opposed to 7 for 8 if they implemented the Sluka package.
I don't know what it is, but how they've just completely gotten away from all things Matthew Sluka.
He was real close to Chesney in the first half, like talking to him. And I was like, is he lobbying to get in, or is he just talking to him about like
Life.
ball? Yeah.
Hey man, I didn't come from UNLV for this.
Nah, I am surprised they went with J.C. Evans first a little bit. Do you think it's trying to keep him healthy, Sluka, because he's like a valuable backup? Is that the idea?
I don't think so.
Because they gave him the run against ODU late. Like he made some nice plays in that one.
I genuinely like. I wish I was a fly on the wall in their like decision making process with that, because it is so confusing. Because like he was literally getting 50% of the snaps against Louisville in like the biggest game of the season. He was a focal point of the offense. And since then, he has been slowly phased out to the point where now you don't even know if he's the garbage time quarterback.
It's weird. I also love the announcers on this game who were giving JMU so much like
Love.
favorable like spin zones where they're like, look, like, yeah, they lost to Louisville, but they probably outplayed them. And they also had two quarterbacks, like as if they were forced to use the two quarterbacks. Like that was a play where they could be like, hey, we don't have two quarterbacks anymore. It's just Alonza. So, like, you can't fault us for that. Like, it was their decision to play Sluka. It wasn't like they had a gun to their head and the ACC was like, hey, you can play this game against our team, but, like, you have to play two quarterbacks.
Man, that's if Sluka could have just punched in that touchdown late, or if they, like, ran hurry up after that.
Or if they, like, let him throw on the goal line. There's, like, 30 seconds. They ran power and then burned all the 30 seconds and he got tackled to the one.
There's so many what ifs with that game.
Or if, like, I love how Isaiah Alston's barely in the offense now, but he threw a very critical pass in that game.
There's so many. Like, that's what I mean about roster.
Yeah.
like if you had told me in that Louisville game that you'd be like, all right, in just over a month, you won't see Sluka anymore. Isaiah Alston hardly will get used. You know that guy that makes that one-handed catch? Well, he'll make more great catches. It's like, that makes sense. You know, your running back one, George Pettaway, like who's getting good carries. He's hardly going to be used due to an injury. You're not going to see Iowa Dei anymore. Jordan Fuller, you'll see more of him. But then other than that, like, I mean, the team just looks so different than what it was in like the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I also like in this game they used like the wishbone formation and it worked on the power plays. It was just Alonza, Fuller, wishbone, and they were just breaking their will. And it was like, that's a little more.
That's the +1 run game that I wanted to see.
That's how we envisioned this. Yeah.
Not the QB power out of the wishbone.
Man.
Also, before we get up on out of here, Spike out of shotgun?
That was disgusting from Kenny and company.
That
I know you guys are always in shotgun. But like, you really can't.
That was a disgrace to the sport of football.
It really was, dude. It's slower, too, for sure, right? Because you're snapping it all the way back to him, and then it took like 4 seconds.
It eats up more time, for sure. Like, SMH.
What a game.
Anything else you got to add? Let's
Playoff
go.
bound.
Okay. Basketball starts up soon.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. like next week.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's played Richmond in an exhibition that was originally going to be televised, then wasn't televised, was only on radio with Riggert. They fell in that one to the Richmond Spiders.
Shooting percentages were ugly.
Yeah. I have no idea what to think. Someone DM'd us on Instagram. They're like, what do you think about the basketball team? Do you think they're going to win the Sun Belt and maybe have an NCAA tournament like appearance? And I was like, brother, yeah. They could also go 2-50, and I wouldn't be shocked either. Like I have, there are a lot of options for this team. I don't know where this team is going to land.
I don't know. Should be fun to watch. They start with a MAC matchup.
Yeah, they start with the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. Akron.
And they get some weird ones after that, but
nothing like a good We'll be in town for the Washington Lee game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big one. Rivals.
People are saying that that game will be heard throughout the mountains.
People are saying that.
Yeah. Women's basketball picked to win the Sun Belt in the preseason.
Their schedule's sick.
Peyton McDaniel's dog. If you haven't made it out to the Atlantic Union Bank Center to catch a women's basketball game, highly recommend it. They start the year off with Kent State, Mason, Queens, Liberty, Villanova, at Texas, home against Virginia Tech. Circle your calendars now. Maybe the biggest game on their schedule in this non-conference slate is Queens.
They host Notre Dame, but the Queens won. That Virginia
Hey,
Tech one should be awesome. That's like I think a winnable game the day after they play Washington State in football. So if you're lingering, that's a good one to linger for.
yes. So looking forward to that. And we'll do a deeper basketball dive probably next podcast or something.
Yeah.
And you can find all of our archived interviews with men's basketball transfers over on our YouTube page, JMU Sports News. We caught up with as many as we could coordinate with. I think it ended up being like 4 or 5 of them. So you can check that out over on the JMU Sports News YouTube. And in the meantime, check out everything that we've got going on, jmusportsnews.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky at JMU Sports News. And if you love the podcast, we would appreciate it if you bought us a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/JMU Sports News. We apologize to the one YouTube commenter who said that we're too much of negative Nellies and she will not be buying us a coffee. Please
Thanks for
buy
letting us know.
please buy us a coffee in place of her. Have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.